All right, let's talk about the guy who was, talked about as a generational prospect. Didn't go great year one. A lot of that was the situation around him, but even some of it was himself. This year, taking a massive step forward, especially as the season has gone on. He continued to play well, had another big win against the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about all of it, the good and the bad, but let's be honest, it was mostly good for Trevor Lawrence. Starting off with this play, it's kind of, I think, a great example of just what the Jaguars are doing. They're running concepts that work, running concepts that can get guys open, but also Lawrence is doing a good job at running these concepts. So on paper, you can see how this play can work. There is a play action involved here as well, but you can get linebackers out of position. You then have three Jacksonville players who are going to get all the way to the top of the screen. There's really only two Dallas players who can cover there. A linebacker would have to get over to cover up the third guy in this scenario, whoever it is, whether it's the shallow route or the further deep route. And as I mentioned, play action can get that linebacker out of position and allow someone to get open. Watch as Lawrence is going to, again, run a quick play action, then rolls out towards his left, and you see right here, there is a window to make this throw, and it kind of feels easy, right? It is open, but it's worth mentioning the angle and the fact that Lawrence is running across his body right here. He is a right-handed quarterback running to his left, so that's already a tougher spot. And again, kind of a tough angle. There is a Dallas player in the area, so it's not the easiest of throws, but it's also not the toughest of throws. And that's the advantage for Trevor Lawrence, is that Doug Peterson is putting him in situations where he can, these are achievable plays. And then as you see, he flips it over and they're able to pick up a first down. So again, just stuff like that, the easy stuff, right? Last year, everything was hard. This year, not everything is hard. There's still some hard stuff that Lawrence is getting, but there's also just easy stuff, and that's what you like to see. Something like this is another example where it's going to be a cover one man play. And again, you can see how this play concept can work. Essentially a pick play with, just in general, a deep route against cover one man can work out as, just looking at it on paper, you can see how there's only a single, safety can't cover the entire middle of the field. And so all you have to do is win your one-on-one matchup. And when you have a little rub here, that can also allow someone to get even more open. Look at how when Lawrence takes the snap and looks in that direction, you see right here, he can't really tell that it's going to get open. I mean, it looks good, right, because of the pick, but you don't know for sure if it's going to get open. But this is just, again, trusting your offense and knowing when to throw the football. And I would say that's one of the areas Lawrence has actually improved, because, yes, it was a tough situation last year, but there were times when things were open and Lawrence was being a bit too cautious with the football, which is expected for a rookie. And now we're seeing him as, a second-year player take that second-year jump and sort of do this stuff. Watch as Lawrence is going to make just a perfect throw, and they're able to pick up a big chunk play right there. So again, good play concept to get someone open, but also Lawrence timing it perfectly and hitting it in a way that he wasn't doing last year on top of that. So when you have this stuff going, that's how you can be in a position where with 3 weeks left in the season, you have people like me predicting the Jaguars to make the playoffs at this point. Now, we can talk about the interception, I guess. I don't think it's a big deal. To be honest, I think this is one of those interceptions where, to me, I think it was just a miscommunication. Watch how when Lawrence takes the snap, he's going to look down the field, and you see right there, if that Jacksonville player cuts over the middle of the field, or at least kind of stops a little bit, he's getting open, right? There's an opportunity for him to get open, and watch what he does. He keeps going further down the field. Lawrence throws it over the middle, and it ends up just getting intercepted. I think he was expecting that receiver to stop at a certain point or cut in a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'm just making excuses, maybe it was just a whiff, but to me, I don't think so. I think it was a communication thing. That's what it looks like to me. Again, always hard to say unless you're in the huddle, but I'm not going to freak out over this. Interceptions do happen, miscommunications do happen. I actually haven't noticed many miscommunications this year, which is saying something for a young quarterback. Usually those happen more frequently, but not with Lawrence, which is kind of cool to see, although you don't want to see it happen here. Now I got to get over to this play, which is just going to be a fantastic play. So it's quarters coverage that the Jaguars are going up against. That's what the Cowboys are in. And you have a deep route on the outside, which, again, some people will say this is not the best concept to run a go route against because you have two players on that side of the field who are staying deep. But if the safety does not cover him, then it's just a one-on-one matchup. And the reality is, if you have a one-on-one matchup down the field, why not take a shot, especially with Zay Jones, where he would have 3 touchdowns on the day in this game. He had quite the day. But watch what happens. Watch this route by Zay Jones, who's really been a nice pickup for them. Watch as Lawrence is going to run to play action. You see Zay Jones, he's totally faked out this defender right here. He's convinced the corner that he is going to be cutting in. So when he goes deep, the corner goes shallow, tries to actually interfere with him. I believe he did get called for it, but it was still a catch and a touchdown on that play. Just a great throw from Lawrence, but a great route by Zay Jones. And again, I think it's fair to say that, like, with this Jaguars team, I'm really excited to see them with Calvin Ridley. I think that will really complete this receiving core. I think they need a Calvin Ridley, but at the same time, they have guys who are still winning. They still have guys who are coming in and making plays, and I think with the addition of a number one receiver in Calvin Ridley, it's going to look awesome because they have guys like Zay Jones who, you have for a couple years at this point still, and, he's someone who can win these one-on-one matchups. So if you can get him in favorable situations, one-on-one matchups against not number one corners, which they're still doing because you still do have Christian Kirk, which, say what you want about the contract, still is a very valuable player in his own right. And so you have guys who are coming in and playing well. So, the receiving core is working right now. And also this play where it's going to be a zone coverage play. This is a really, really good play, I think, by Lawrence. This is, one of his bigger highlights. I mean, Marvin Jones is the guy to watch on this one. That is the receiver who's running a route that could get into a gap in coverage, kind of on the outside right there. Watch as Lawrence takes the snap, and you're going to see Marvin Jones eventually, at this point, fighting his way to get to the outside. To me, this is a Lawrence highlight, though. Watch this throw, and also worth mentioning, there is contact as Micah Parsons is right in his area. But look, I mean, Lawrence is going to make just a beautiful throw on that one. Have to be honest, thought Micah Parsons maybe got held a little bit, but okay, that's fine. That's football. Holds happen. Really great throw by Trevor Lawrence, though, and that's the main thing, is the guy just making these incredible throws. And as long as he can continue to make these impressive plays, the reality is, if you're a Jacksonville fan, okay, you want to make the playoffs, right? That would be fun, seeing you make the playoffs. And it's maybe some people are hearing me say this and saying, Jaguars in the playoffs, I mean, how's that going to happen? It's actually a lot more expected than I think you might think. The reality is, if they go 1-1 in the next two games, losing to the Jets but beating the Texans, what probably I would assume happens is that the Titans go 1-1 in their next two games as well, because they play the Texans and the Cowboys, meaning that realistically, that Week 18 matchup between the Titans and Jaguars is going to essentially be a playoff game before the playoffs, essentially, of a winner gets in, because the Jaguars would make the playoffs in that situation if they win that game. So the reality is, that would be awesome, but again, let's just say you fall short to the Titans week 18, but Lawrence continues to play as well as he's played. You're still feeling pretty good. You get Calvin Ridley next year, which is exciting. You're not picking first again, which is also exciting. And you're just, your young players have gotten better, and you hope for the next year that you can do well. But again, hey, let's not worry about next year yet, right? Let's worry about this year. Let's try to make the playoffs. I think they're going to. I have them. I'm predicting them to make the playoffs at this point. They're not a third team in the AFC South. I have predicted to win that division at different times. I predicted the Colts, and then I think like week 2 I said, okay, not them, the Titans, and then now I'm saying the Jaguars. So who knows? Maybe the Texans will find a way to win it. Doesn't seem likely. I'm pretty sure they're clinched out. But yeah, that's my thoughts on all of this. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.